out to how we can get Zotero already set up. So I'll presume that everyone already has their Zotero set up or configured. So I will not go to the online. So this was the file that was sent out if you wanted to configure your Zotero. So I presume everything is already configured. See from there. So once your Zotero reference manager is configured, once you open it, you should have an interface like this. Okay, you should have an interface like this. It may not necessarily be the same because I've been using Zotero primarily. So you see that I have a lot of folders over here, whatever it is. But it's almost the same like what you're seeing. So this is your library. Okay, so the library captures all the literature or all the documents you have in your Zotero reference manager. Okay, and just like for collections under Mendeley in Zotero, we have it as folders. So realize that this is a folder on aid. So it means all my papers on aid education, I put them here. My papers on aid and poverty, I put them here. So that's basically how you organize your research. And then if you want to create a subfolder, what we call a sub collection under Mendeley is the same way. Over here, you see that here I've created a subfolder. So if you want to create a new folder, you just come here, click on this file, you give it a name. We could give it the name workshop, and then we can click on OK. So now it says here, this is the workshop. We've created a new folder called workshop. If you right click, you can create a new sub collection, just like we did for Zotero. Okay, so if you want to create a new sub collection, you can create sub workshop, and then that should work well. We have sub workshop, and sub workshop is a folder under workshop, and workshop is a folder under our main library. All right. So now, how do we get our literature or our works into the folder we've created over here? There are also many ways. Okay, one, import the folder, the file, like we did in Mendeley. You could always open and add a new item. So now another way, now here I will not basically repeat the same thing I did for the Mendeley. I will just show other ways. So for example, if you have the folders already opened, okay, now I'll open, let's say I have this folder open. I could easily just drag all these PDFs. Perhaps you already have the PDFs on your computer. I could just easily drag the PDFs and put them here in the open folder. And then Zotero would automatically gather all the needed metadata about the works I've put into the folder. Okay, so you see that the mouse icon is showing that it's loading. And then after some minutes, it will gather. So it puts the PDFs over here, and then it says PDF metadata retrieval. So it will search online and try to get all the metadata it can from all these papers. If the paper has metadata online, certainly Zotero will get it. If the paper doesn't have metadata online, Zotero will not be able to get it for you, and you would have to manually get your own paper. All right. So when you see this green check mark, it means Zotero was able to get the metadata. All right. If you see this X, this red X, it means Zotero wasn't able to get any metadata for this particular paper. Okay. So I think it has a few more papers to go. All right. All right. So now it says, so once it's finished, I could easily close this. Okay. I think it's a good point, a good place to go back to the last other question that was asked about what if I upload my own paper or I get a paper from Google, but that paper doesn't have any metadata. It doesn't have any author name I could use. How can I go about it? So in Zotero, I think it's even much easier. You see this, it's basically telling you can add a new item. So I will just click on the add new item. What seems Abubakar is right on the screen. I think administrator could do something about it. So when you click on add new item, it's asking you, what do you want to add? Is it a book section, a conference paper, whatever it is? If you click on more, it will give you a whole list. Okay. So for example, maybe it's a lab report I want to add. I can just come to the R section. Is there? I will check if there is a report here or whatever it is. And then you can choose whatever it is that you want to add, whether it's a blog, it's a bill, it's a data set, anything. So let's go with a manuscript. Perhaps it's a manuscript or a what do you call it, working paper. When I choose manuscript, Okay, now it gives me this dialog box. You realize it's saying the same thing, info. And now I could add these things myself. So I could add this is the title. This is our workshop on Zotero. So this is the, and then here I have the author name. So I can add the author name as Tiante. And then the author's first name, I could add Philip. And then you could add the abstract, you could add the paper type, the place. So let's say we are in China. So let's add China to place. And then let's put here working paper. And then we are 2024. 2024, we are in February, right? And today is 23rd. Great, number of pages. So you can basically go through all this. And once you finish this thing, you will be able to cite it like a normal journal paper or report or whatever it is. Zotero will be able to allow you to cite it exactly how you want to cite it. So let's take note of this title. We'll cite it when you are trying the citation using the Zotero. So you go with this, and then you realize that it has created this for you. You realize that the icon for this is different. It is telling that this is a working paper or a manuscript. When you see this white icon, it's telling that this is a journal. So that's how Zotero distinguishes between the different items you can add. If I should add another file, perhaps if I should add a report, you realize that Zotero will give it a different icon. And then I could still add the same information. This is our second workshop paper. Once I enter all this information, okay, once I enter, I realize it gives another icon. So maybe that's one cool feature of Zotero. Once you look at the icons, you can tell the kind of paper you are dealing with. So that's one way you can add documents or literature to your Zotero reference manager. Now, what is another way? So another way, let's try the Google Scholar approach, but since some of the questions have so much been related to Google Scholar. So if you try the Google Scholar approach or maybe online approach, will try any of them. I hope this time around my network doesn't fail me. So you can click once. Now you have to ensure that as you are trying to get information online, you have to ensure that your Zotero is open. When you see this is the Zotero extension that I have here, and the icon here tells you what Zotero is seeing. Now this is saying that Zotero is seeing a folder that can be downloaded. Zotero is seeing a folder because on this same web page, I have a lot of citation information that Zotero can capture. That's why it's showing us a folder. But if you are dealing with, if you go to a website where there's only one paper, Zotero will change the icon and show you different icon. So if I should click on site, okay, and I should click on maybe Refman. Once my Zotero is open, Zotero will automatically pick it up. Great. So you see here, my Zotero connector is saying that I am seeing this paper. This paper is titled Framing Ace in China. I can save it. Where do you want to save it? Do you want to save it in workshop folder or whatever folder? And remember, these are all folders that I have created in my Zotero. Okay, you see, these are all the folders. So the Zotero will just highlight the one you have selected. Because my folder is a selected one, Zotero is telling me that I can save this paper into your workshop folder. So if that's okay, you just can just click on done, and then Zotero is telling me that this is a journal. That's why it's showing this white paper or white letter icon. And then I just click on done, and then Zotero will save the metadata. So now let's go to our Zotero workshop folder. So nowadays, you realize I saved it. Framing Ace in China, a comparative analysis of US and Chinese war news. And then these are the info. Okay, it's telling me that this paper was published in Asian Journal of Communication. All right, that is one way you can go about saving a paper. Now, let's look at another way we can use Zotero to populate our reference manager. Now, perhaps you went to the journal website directly. Okay, let's use the same Google. So let's visit this journal website. If you could have gotten. So let's visit this journal website and then see how we can now get this paper directly into our Zotero reference manager. So it's saying this is an open access app. Now, every icon here tells you what Zotero is seeing. So when you see this icon, Zotero is telling that I'm seeing a website, but definitely you know a website is not what you would want to download. So you don't want to make sure that the paper is viewed. So depending on the website you are on, sometimes you can download the paper, sometimes you can view a paper online. So if you're able to view the paper online, you could basically just view it. Let's try to open other papers and then populate that as well. Okay, so let's open this paper and then let's open this other paper as well. And let's see how things work out. All right, so here is a Science Direct website. And then we have this paper. So you realize that as it loads and as Zotero would be altering the information it is seeing. So this is an open access paper. So because an open access paper, you realize that Zotero has now updated information. It's telling that I am seeing a journal paper and I can save the metadata of this paper that I'm seeing. I just click here. Once you click here, it's saying I am saving to workshop. I can save the metadata. I can save the snapshot, and I can also save the PDF. That's what Zotero is telling you. And then once you click, you can just click on OK, or it will still go ahead and save. Even if you don't click on OK, it will still be able to save the documentation for you. And then depending on the strength of your signal, when you come here, you realize that it will save your Chinese aid and local corruption. It has already saved it for me. Okay, and sometimes the PDF takes time to save. Okay, sometimes the PDF takes time to download and save. And then that is another way you can use Zotero to save. So you just realize that eventually it has saved the PDF. So once you see this sign, it means Zotero has the metadata and it also has the PDF. When you see this arrow sign here, when you click on it, it will tell you all the items that Zotero has. It has the snapshots of the website and it has the submitted version. You can just double click on the PDF and Zotero will still open because Zotero has an inbuilt PDF viewer. And then it will also allow you to do the same thing that you could do in Mendeley. You could highlight, you could add notes, whatever it is. You can still do all of them here. And then remember, these are the metadata. You could still make any change you want. Perhaps if there is some information that Zotero couldn't capture, you could still add it yourself. You could still use the tags, add a tag yourself, just like we did in the Mendeley. So here you realize or keywords, the keywords that you add when you are publishing your paper, here it automatically populates as tag. And you can use that to search or create a subsample selection of the works in your Zotero account. So I think I've at least taken you through about 3 ways you can use to add information in your Zotero account. Now, what if I download the RIS? You realize that here, when I downloaded the RIS, because Zotero is my default reference manager, immediately I click site, automatically Zotero will pick it up. So if I click site here, Zotero will automatically pick it up again and tell me, oh, I can download this for you into your workshop folder or whatever. If you don't want the workshop folder, you can just click here and then choose whatever folder you want, or you can click on this drop down arrow and choose whatever folder you want. So just seeing this sign here should tell me that this one is a report. And then I can click on down and Zotero will put the report in there in my list. Okay, so these are the main ways. So it means whether you have the document on your computer or whatever it is, you can still get it into Zotero. Okay, and then here is what allows you to add your custom files or whatever it is in any way that you can. Okay, I just want to focus on the basics because there are things that people could still do with Zotero. Now, what if you have the bibliography information, the RIS file? How can I bring it in Zotero? If you have the RIS file, you could still come to File, and then you can choose Import. Okay, you can choose Import, and then you just go with what? A file, BibTeX, RIS, Zotero. Now, I realize that you're already seeing Mendeley Reference Manager, online imports. So it's telling you that there is some level of syncing you can do, but this is a bit advanced. That's why I don't want to focus on that in this session. So when you click on a file, and then you can go next and then look for where your RIS file is. Remember, I had a sample RIS file on our desktop. So we'll try with that one. Let's go to our desktop. And then our RS file was named Scholar. Okay, this is our RS file. Once I click on open, it will tell me, do I want to place, do I want to link, whatever. You can just choose copy, or you can link it to the original files in the application and then go to next. And then finish, you realize that automatically Zotero populates the paper and then it gives me all this information over here. Great. Are we together? I hope we have not left people behind.
Please, we are with you. We are with you, sir.
Great, great.
We are following.
Great, great. All right. So these are some of the primary ways you can use to add the needed information in your Zotero account. Now, let's quickly create a PDF file. Let's call this training. Okay, let's use this as a demonstration. So I'll save this on my desktop. And let's give it the name workshop. So we are assuming this is a document you would want to be citing. So I save it, workshop, and let's make it a PDF file. So after we make it a PDF file, you realize it doesn't have any metadata. Okay, so Zotero can't do much with it. Okay, this is our Zotero. Let's try to bring it into our workshop folder. So I can just drag. Normally I like to drag and drop. So I'll drag and drop. So you realize it's still showing as PDF. Zotero has to populate any information. It doesn't have any icon. It just have the normal PDF icon, which you see over here. So it's telling you that this thing doesn't have any, and this is only the information you have. Perhaps this is a custom-made document. How can I develop it into a document I can cite? Okay, that's basically what I want to do. So when you right-click, okay, when you right-click on this file, it gives you a lot of options. If you want to try to retrieve a metadata, maybe you try the first time, perhaps network issue, it couldn't generate. You can always click on retrieve metadata for PDF, and Zotero will try to search online to see if it has any metadata for that PDF. But because this document was created by myself, so even if I click on retrieve PDF, Zotero can't find any references. So, but how do we proceed? Because we want to cite it. So you can just right click, and then you can choose create parent item. And then you can choose manual entry. So when you choose manual entry, it brings you here. What is the type of document? I could say whatever it is. Maybe it's a book chapter or a book section. If it's a book chapter, I just choose book chapter. What is the title? My book chapter on this workshop. Who are the authors? I think Ajeman said something. So let's put Ajeman. Who is the first author? Gideon is our MC. Let's put Gideon. You put your abstract. What is the title of the book? The book is Workshop Series. All right, great. And then I can enter all these. Let's say publisher is Nooks. And then the place is China. So you can basically add all any information you want from your custom document. So you see the icon that pops up here. It's a book icon. So tell you saying that this is a book chapter. Okay. So it means even if you create your own custom item, you should still be able to cite it. Now let's move from here and quickly go to the word. And maybe later, if you have time, I'll come back to Zotero again. So how then do we involve Zotero in our citations? So I have this here. For Zotero, you should see on ribbon over here. If you correctly install the Zotero, you should see the ribbon over here. So you realize that this is a ribbon. And for citation, it's a bit different from Mendeley. I actually prefer Zotero style of citation. for me, I think I prefer how it allows you to handle the citation than how manually allows you. That's why I use Zotero for my work. So perhaps you want to do an indirect in-text citation. Okay, this is our workshop. And you want to cite, you just have to come here, click on add or edit citation. Okay, and then right from the start, Zotero is asking you, what style of citation would you want to go with? Okay, would you want to go to APA or reference Harvard IE? Okay, so let's go with the APA 7th edition. Just click. Okay, and then you can make sure you tick this box here. It says automatically update citation. Now, when you tick this box, it means as you do your work, as you insert new in-text citation, your reference will automatically be updated. Your bibliography will automatically be updated as you add new citations in your work. So I just click on OK. After clicking on OK, now ask me what work would I want to cite. So it will give me a dialog box where I will now enter any keyword. So this is the dialog box for you. Okay. So here you enter any keyword of that paper. It could be the title of the paper. It could be any keyword name. It could even be the author name. For example, if I should type my name here, it will give me a list of my paper I have in my Zotero reference manager. So these are a list it gives me of documents bearing my name. And then I can just click on this and I can click on enter and then automatically it's cited for me. You realize that anytime you click on it, it's automatically highlighted with a gray color. It is saying that this citation was done by Zotero. And so you have to ensure that you don't do any editing. You don't erase, you don't add any word you know. You just have to leave it as intact as it is. Okay, so this is my in-text indirect citation. Now, how about if I want to do a direct citation? Maybe Atitanti says or Atitanti finds, how can I go about it? So you could also do the same thing. You could come here and then choose add citation. Okay, you want to now quote Atitanti as being the one who is saying something directly. So I would quote maybe this paper. And then, you know, there's a drop-down arrow here. It gives you other options. It says keep sources sorted or classic view. I normally keep it at the sorted option. Once you click on this citation information, it gives you extra information, okay, about your citation. If you want to do a direct citation, you just have to choose omit author. You just have to click it. Once you click omit author, it will only keep the year for you. So I'll just click omit author and then press enter, and then it only keeps the year. If I click it, realize it automatically highlights. So I could now just type my Atitanti over here, and then I have the reference. Maybe Atitanti finds that this and that. Okay. And then but in this way, it means you are not tampering with the referencing that Zotero is doing. Immediately you tamper with the referencing, you would always get errors when you are trying to populate your bibliography at the end. So this is the best way you go about in trying to do direct and then indirect citation when you are working with Zotero. Now, sometimes you want to make a very direct quote where you need page number or whatever it is. How do you go about it? Just say that maybe this line is for me, and I want to insert a citation over here. I click on add or edit citation. And then I choose any keyword. As long as you type, something should pop up. Any keyword, title or author. I click on it, and then I click on the citation itself. It says, what page number do you want? If I click on a drop-down, it gives me a whole list. Is it a page number that you want to make reference? Is it an appendix? Is it a book? So depending on the kind of document you are citing, okay, this is an article. So I'm saying I should go with page, and then I'll say I want to quote from page 9. So if I add page 9 here and I click on enter, automatically it will add the page number here. So you don't, under any condition, have to tamper with what Zotero, you know, sometimes people would automatically try to put numbers here. When you do that, no, automatically you start getting errors when you try to populate your work reference in the end. So if you want to cite a page number, you just can use this command to cite. Now, sometimes you realize that maybe you want to add, maybe see, for example, you know, those kind of write-ups C, for example, or C. How do we go about it? So you could still add, you can come here, click on add or edit citation. Okay, let's still go with the Isaac Singh paper. I choose maybe this one. And then I click here. It gives me the option for prefix. Prefix means, is there any word you want to bring before the author, their name, and then the information? And then the suffix is there any word you want to proceed? Okay, the citing information. So here I'll type, for example, C. And then here I can add, this is the paper. Okay, and then when you are done, you just click enter, and then you realize everything here for you. See this. So if you want to add maybe extra emphasis in the paper or in the citing information, in the citing that you add, please you don't have to tamper with Zotero's automatic generation. Other than that, you have happens. You just have to use these commands, and then Zotero work for you. Okay, I believe you're all following. So now these are most likely the main kind of citation you'll be doing: in text, direct, indirect. And then perhaps now you are at the end of the paper, you want to now add your bibliography or your reference link. How do you go about it? So for Zotero, you just have to come here, add or edit bibliography. Okay. So once I click add or edit bibliography, Zotero automatically lists all the works I've cited here. Enough. Okay. Vertical order is citing this paper, this paper, this paper, this paper. And then it automates all the works you have done. Very simple, very easy to use tool. Okay, what if perhaps this APA, the journal or my school has their own preferred citation style? How then do I change it? You just have to come to document preferences over here. And then you can always change. So we were doing AP. You can go to Chicago Author Date System, the 17th edition. So let's select that one. And then you can choose OK. And then Zotero automatically refresh and update everything to Chicago style. And automatically Chicago style. So you click, automatically highlighted. It is telling that Zotero is the one handling everything. So you don't have to make any changes, whatever it is. Now, what if perhaps you are supposed to use a citation style which is not so common, so you don't find it here in the list? Though Zotero already has a lot of lists, you can come to manage styles. Okay, when you come to manage styles, to open another dialog box, and then you can choose get additional styles. If all the things you want, or if the citation style you want is not populated here, you can click get additional styles. And then you're able to search using any keyword, and you can download the style you want. And then Zotero would be able to capture it for you. Depending on, so I think the brother was asking about GLB or whatever it is. If it's something standard and internationally acknowledged, you can use your field to search, or you can use the format to search. And then once you find it, you can basically just click and download, and you add it. So this accounting history review, or you can even search using your journal. You know, particular journals have their own citation style. You can use that to search. And then you should be able to download and then get it added to your reference manager. And then you can use that for your citing. So once you add it, it becomes part of the list over here. And then you can click on OK. So if I go with Harvard, I realize that everything in there would also change. And then it will reflect the Harvard style. So that's about using Zotero to handle the citation. And so I believe we have been able to. Now, if you're realize I told us to automatically take this automatic update citation. So you can realize that if I automatically decide to add a new citation over here, if I add new over here, maybe I choose up here, could be, I add this paper, Then automatically Zotero added it over here. That is the function of the automatic update. But if you untick the automatic update, I think it's a balance. If you are working on a document that has maybe hundreds or whatever list of reference that you're working with, sometimes automatically updating the citation, depending on the specs of your computer, it may take some few seconds, and perhaps it may give you some lag. In our cases, you can untick the automatic update. But if you are dealing with a standard journal or standard thesis, taking the automatically update is good. If you untick the automatic update and then after you add new references, you can click refresh over here. Once you click refresh, it will automatically now add the new citation that you did to your reference list. But if you tick the automatic option, you don't have to click refresh. It will automatically do everything for you. So these are the basic, and then almost 90% of the things you'd use Zotero for, starting from the interface we have over here to citing using the Word document and everything. And then the PDF viewer, once you view a PDF, it will always be open here until you yourself choose. You can also make use of the notes like we did in Zotero and the Mendeley. You can also make use of the tags option. And I think these are basically the main things you would need your Zotero for. Now, perhaps you have a file here. You can also export the RIS. So you can export library. If you choose export library, it allows you to export the files in any format you want, whether it be LaTeX, RIS, whatever it is, you can export. And then you can import it in another reference manager. So you see RIS here, you see LaTeX over here, you see BibTeX here. You can export it in any way. So if I should choose RIS over here, and I choose export, if you add files, it will also add all the needed files, everything. If I choose OK, it will export it to any place I want it to export it to. Now the kind of work you are working. Now, sometimes maybe you want to export a whole list of reference. Those are the advanced levels, and definitely we cannot capture it over here. Or sometimes if you see a particular paper and maybe you want to gather all the reference in that paper into your Zotero, there's another way, but you will need some kind of online plugins to be able to capture all the reference in a particular paper and then bring them to your Mendeley or Zotero. But those are the quite advanced methods of using Zotero or Mendeley. And so I not capture here because that's not the focus of this session. But what I've presented here is what perhaps 95 or 96% of us here will need Zotero for. So we just have 5 minutes, so I think it will be decent to allow people who have any question to ask. Big Brother Gideon, any question?
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Philip, once again. So we have some questions in the chat box that I would read, and then please, if you have any question, just like we did for the previous presentation, just go to the reaction icon and lift up your hand. I will call you. Please, taking the first question. Can you throw more light on metadata? One brother, Alan, is asking that you've been mentioning it, and the clarity for metadata is not really forthcoming for him. Okay.
Basically, the referencing information that you use. So if I publish a paper, okay, the paper will have my DOI. It will have the author name and the year it was published. Those are what we refer to as metadata. I hope that is clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And then from Maria is asking, please, in Mendeley, can one make changes in the metadata just as Zotero?
Yes, you should be able to make changes in metadata. But I think you are most likely going to make changes in the metadata only when you automatically add the Zotero, Mendeley couldn't add some needed information and you want to add it yourself. But you should be able to, when you go to the info tab, when you go to the info tab, you're able to make changes. Let me quickly. Once you go to the info tab, you're able to make changes to the metadata that is captured over there. So for Zotero, so if I click on any paper, it's still loading my items. So once I see this white or any icon, it's telling me it has the metadata. So once I click on it, this is the metadata, what's referred to as info. So you can make changes here. Yeah, I can choose and decide to make it maybe a film, email, document, whatever it is. So you could do the same in Mendeley as well. Another info.
Okay.
So it's still loading. You can go to the next question if it's
Yeah,
open,
so
then I
I'll
give
take
it
two
back.
more questions because of our time. This question, I believe it is directed towards the executives or the organizers of this seminar. Please, can you share the Zoom recording to us so that it can serve as a guide? So I think that one would go to the organizers. And then there's a question that says, can you go over? And then, please, how can we add 2 to 3 in-text citations together?
Oh, great. Yeah, I think that's a great question. I didn't need to do that. Okay. So for Zotero, it's still the same. So this is the document we're working on. So I already have this as my in-text citation, but only one single author. What if I want to add maybe a few more authors? You just make sure you have clicked on it so that it's highlighted, and then come to the add or edit citation. Okay, it will acknowledge that you've already cited once. So you are seeing the one here. And then you can just keep searching using any other keyword. So let's add another keyword. It could be a keyword in the title. The title is whatever it is. I could add this. I could add, maybe let's type Chinese. Again, it will give me any document that has Chinese word. I could add this. And then maybe aid. It will also give me any paper that has aid as part of the word. I'll add this. So you can add as much as you can and just click on enter. And then it will automatically do the multiple citation for you. So you see you have the
Okay.
Isaacson, Adera, editor.
Please, Doc, the last question, and then we would have to continue. The last question is it possible to use two different styles in one paper? For instance, using IEEE for the in-text and using APA in the biography. Is that possible?
I don't know if that, but if you don't want Zotero to be automatically updating stuff, that's why you have the on link. So after I populate my reference list here and I choose on link, it means I am breaking this away from any link it has with the document. And it gives me room to do changes in the text in the document or in the citation in the document, but will not be reflected over here. So it means if you want to do something of that sort, you may have to break any link. You have to choose on link citations. You have to remove all the field code so that when you make in the in-text, it will not necessarily automatically reflect over here. Or you can put off the automatic citation off and then break the link. And that is how you can achieve something of that sort. But I don't know if that would be professional because as far as I know, citation is quite standard and it's all around standard. I think the only variation you have is sometimes the use of footnotes and